Afternoon, Cherries fans, and welcome to this latest in the back of the net opposition previews. Finally, a win in South Yorkshire as we demolish Barnsley 4-0 at Oakwell. Tomorrow, we visit South Wales instead to face one of our promotion rivals, and without a doubt, one of the strongest teams in the league. To discuss all things Swansea, I have Rhys with me from Swans Away Days YouTube channel. Afternoon, Rhys. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Not a problem at all. So Swansea have had a number of very good seasons, firstly under Graham Potter and now Steve Cooper, reaching the quarter-final of the FA Cup against Man City, and also finishing last season in dramatic fashion and reaching the playoffs. Surely promotion is the aim this season. How realistic do you feel that is?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think playoffs is definitely the aim again. Obviously, with last season, dramatically getting the playoffs. I think we won like 7 of our last 9 games, and we all know in the championship momentum is key. The season before that, we finished 10th for them, but we had a really good cup run under Graham Potter. But you know, we've improved every season since we got relegated from the Premier League. We finished 10th for them, we finished 6th. So fingers crossed, we can also finish in the playoffs this year. The squad's looking good as well. Obviously, we lost more key players in the summer. Joe Rose on leaving. Again, still somehow managed to keep the likes of Ayew at the club, which is absolutely mental. I think he's the highest earner in the championship, reportedly on £80,000 a week, which is a lot of money. But, you know, he's one of the main reasons why we got into the playoffs last year. So if we can keep him, I don't see why we can't stay in the playoffs or, you know, finish at the end of the season.
And do tell us a little bit more about that finish last season, because it was very, very dramatic.
Yeah, it was. Before lockdown, we were like mid-table, 11th, 12th, and usually in the championship is always that one team which, you know, goes on a run of games. And, you know, I wasn't really expecting it. We were going on some good runs, then we had some results going against us, and I was like, yeah, it's not grabbing. And then obviously the last day, if anyone doesn't know, we were 3 points off the playoffs. We were actually 7th. We were actually 7th at the time. Nottingham Forest was 6th, Cardiff for 5th. Cardiff 6th, Forest for 5th. And, we needed like a 5-goal swing each way, and you know, the magic of the championship, Nottingham Forest lost 4-1 to Stoke City. We beat Reading 4-1. And, you know, the biggest shame really for us is we win at the game. We win at Reading away. You know, it would have been a great away end, really, sold out, not the furthest of trips. And, you know, but with lockdown, I think the Swans especially do perform better without no fans. Obviously, Bournemouth and Swansea are quite similar in their possession style, attacking style as well. And, you know, sometimes I can get a bit frustrated with fans if, you know, we don't attack as much, we just try to keep possession. But overall, last season, very positive season. Cooper, our manager, of course, Steve Cooper, England under-17s World Cup, so he's got some credibility there. But, you know, he made some mistakes last season, not making enough substitutes, not utilising the squad and not changing things up. But I think this season, we've seen, especially the 5 substitute rule now, he's started to use the subs a lot more if we're losing the game. For example, against Middlesbrough a few weeks back, we were 1-0 down half-time. Brings on 3 changes at half time. So, you know, Cooper is not afraid to make subs in last season, like I was saying. Very, very good season for us.
Fantastic. And of course, you mentioned and touched on Andre Ayew there. How pivotal was he last season? Because he banged in 18 goals for you.
He was absolutely massive. 18 goals, but he was 7 assists as well in all competition. He's such a leader. You know, he's captain of Ghana. Surprisingly, he's not captain for us. He's the vice captain, but I think he scored against Bournemouth a few times in the Premier League as well. I think it was a 2-2 draw, that crazy game. But he's massive. You know, he's one of the best players in the championship. His physicality is brilliant. He's not the tallest of players, but the height he gets when he gets ahead is absolutely unbelievable. He's a leader. There's a lot of young players on our team. We're quite a young squad, and he's one of the older players in the squad. And with Brian Bennett out injured as well, who's, you know, a big lead at the back. I think Andre has started to perform as well. You know, he did have an injury concern a few weeks back and, you know, wasn't the best, but he came on against Sheffield Wednesday where, you know, he was 50% fit. He was actually knackered after 20 minutes, but, you know, he still comes on the scores. I think he's on 7 goals so far this season as well. And, you know, if we're going to get anywhere in the league, anywhere it results against teams like Bournemouth, who are one of the best teams in the league, then Andre's got to perform. But when Ayew performs, the team performs. And when Ayew has an off day, we don't really perform. There's not that player who can, you know, step up to Andre's standards and, you know, get us out of trouble. If we're not playing too well, Andre's always there to get us out of trouble. So if Andre doesn't perform, Swansea City aren't the best of teams when he doesn't perform.
Fantastic. So one thing that I've noticed is that you do bring in a lot of very good loan talent each season. Last season, Freddie Woodman joined, and he's back again this season as well. And a man who many of our fans, a guy called Kirk in particular, wanted us to go for was Ryan Brewster. How has Cooper managed to make those loans happen?
He's managing in loans to happen. I think all of them, apart from Aldo Kalulu last season, who's a bit of a flop, all of them were from England in the 17 system. So, Cooper's worked his magic there. We've beat a number of clubs for those signings. Ryan Brewster's linked with Crystal Palace. Maybe he was linked with you as well. I think so. And, just because of that link, really, the man just trusts him. That's where Jurgen Klopp sent him out, plus Freddie Woodman, Steve Bruce to Swansea. So they just know he's going to get game time. And we've seen with Ryan Brewster, Sheffield United, he's had too much game time. And, I think Liverpool will be a bit disappointed that, well, they'll be out with the money, but it's a bit disappointing for him that he's not come to a club like Swansea to get game time. But, we've got a really good connection with young players, and, we've got a good record of selling young players as well. Daniel James, Joe Rodon, Ollie McBurney, for example. So we've got a really good track record, and I think that's really helping us get some really good loan deals in. And we've done the same this season with Morgan Gibbs from Wolverhampton Wanderers, who's a very talented midfielder, and unfortunately he's been injured for a long time, but he's been very good. And again, Freddie Woodman, youngish goalkeeper, and you think he's got the most clean sheets in the Championship as well, which does well for his confidence and his future chances at Newcastle.
And do tell us about a bit more about the rest of the Swansea team.
Rest of the Swansea team then. We've got some other youngsters on loan. Mark Wakey from Chelsea, very, very good player, playing up from the back, left-footed centre-back. Did go off injured with a bit of a head injury Saturday, so fingers crossed he's right, but he's a very good defender. Ryan Bennett, who I'm sure Bournemouth fans will know from last season, was also on loan with Leicester, very good defender at this level. We've got some more experienced players as well. Cal Norton, former Tottenham Hotspur defender, of course. He's been with us for a long, long time. Going forward, we've got some very young players, Liam Cullen, Victor Gyökeres, who are on Brighton. So we've got a lot of mixture between youngsters and experienced players. So it's a good mixture to have, but sometimes you can really see the inexperience happening. But with a manager who's relatively young in Steve Cooper, he's always learning, the players are always learning. So it's a bit of a good bond. And, fourth in the Championship so far. We're learning every week, every result. We've only lost 3 games this season. So, it's been really positive for us this season.
And last season, you had Sam Surridge on loan from the Cherries, and he managed to grab 4 goals in 20 games. What did the Swansea faithful make of Sam's time there?
Well, it was quite an interesting one, really. Opinions changed every week. At the start, he was a bit of a bench player. Did well in the cups, came on against QPR. The first couple of games, got a goal, and we were thinking, could be a good impact player. Then he started to start some games, and we were like, is he really cut out for this level? Not cut out for this level because you don't want to hold him. And we were like, does he really fit our style? He's a bit slow on the ball. He was winning a lot of headers. His physicality was really good, but, and then obviously when Boha Basson was in a bit of a downfall period, Sam Surridge came in and he started really growing into his role. His physicality, he looked a lot sharper. After the international breaks, he looked a lot sharper, so I think he worked on his fitness, and I think he enjoyed it at Swansea. It's a big shame from Bournemouth to recall him, and he didn't really get that much game time at Bournemouth in the Premier League, but I think it was because of the striker situation. And it was a bit of a blow for us to lose Sam Surridge, really, because he's a very good asset to have. He's a good Championship striker. I know the game time's been limited at Bournemouth. He's starting to start games now, and he scored as well. So he's a very good Championship striker. I think a consistent run of games, he'll easily get 15 goals on this level. So Surridge, overall, I think the Swansea faithful, we were disappointed that he left, but obviously his replacement in Ryan Brewster, obviously we were happy with that. But I think the Swansea fans will remember Sam Surridge on a high. Scored some very late goals as well. Wigan away, 93rd minute header. Scored a lot of headers. But Sam Surridge, I really liked him at Swansea.
Yeah, and he's been very, very good so far this season in the games that he's played. He's run a lot in the channels as well. So we've likened him a little bit to young Callum Wilson. So he's been very, very impressive for ourselves. As you probably know, he did score on Friday night against Barnsley. Do you feel, are the Swansea fans worried that he might come back to haunt you?
Well, Swansea, of course, I think it's more so, but Swansea especially love to concede against former players. Last season, Joe Allen scored, or the season before that. Sam Kluka scored 2 last season. So we love to concede against a former player. And, Sam Sturridge, I'm expecting him to start as well with, I believe, Josh King's injured, so I'm expecting him to start maybe with Don Solanke as well. And I am expecting him to score because it's such a Swansea thing. You bring such physicality, a bit of threat to the defence as well. So I'm expecting quite a high-scoring game Tuesday, and I definitely think Sam Sturridge will get on the score sheet. I don't think he'll celebrate. I don't think he'll over-celebrate if he does celebrate, but I do expect Sam Sturridge to have a pretty good game.
And go on, Rhys. I've got to push you for a prediction as well. How do you reckon it's going to go, mate?
Well, when I do previews on my channel, every time I predict Swansea to have a good result, we seem to lose. And every time I seem to predict us to have a crap result, we seem to win. So it's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, Bournemouth, you went to South Wales earlier on the season, got a 1-1 draw with Cardiff. Obviously, we're a different side to them. Barnsley, you were, kind of a similar team to us, really, and you absolutely dominated them. So I'm expecting us to set up this 3-5-2 system as we always do, 5-3-2. And I'm expecting us to score. I'm also expecting Bournemouth to score. So I'm going to go for a negative result in hoping that, kind of influences it. But I'm going to sneak a Bournemouth 2-1 victory. And I reckon for us, it's probably going to be Ayew to score. There's no one else really. And Bournemouth, I'm obviously going to say Sam Sturridge will score. And I'm probably going to say Lewis Cook as well.
To be fair, I was, more in probably hope, but, I was going to go for the 2-1. But, yeah, I did think Ayew would get a goal. So, yeah, we'll probably mirror our predictions. That's the first time that's happened, Rhys. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think we'll score first. I just think Bournemouth will have a bit too much quality in, but I do think it'll be a very, very good game of football.
And do tell us a little bit more about the Swans Away Days YouTube channel, because I actually found out about yourself via that in a game against Sheffield Wednesday that you was playing. So I watched that. And you were quite animated as well that day towards the end. But will you be doing your watch-alongs?
Yeah, appreciate you watching, Craig. And obviously, we all know with championship referees, they can get a little bit frustrating at times. But yeah, Swans Away Days YouTube channel. I will be doing a watch-along tomorrow if any of you Bournemouth fans want to watch. I am quite actually non-biased, surprisingly. But yeah, so I usually start the game, start the stream 10 minutes beforehand. So I think the game tomorrow is 7:45. So 7:35, you're more than welcome to join in, and hopefully I'll be seeing you there as well, Craig.
Yeah, most definitely. And what there'll be a link in the description as well. So if you do want to watch along as well, by all means, just click on that and you'll be able to watch Rhys watch along. Well, thanks for Rhys for joining me today on Back of the Net. Later on and after the game, we will be having our free-for-alls as per normal. So please do join us for that. Also, Tom Jordan will be joining us with his player ratings, and we'll have a couple more interviews as well with some former Cherries players. But until next time, thank you for joining us, and I'll see you in the next video. Up the Cherries.